Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, this is Mr. Steve Wrestling, and today I am here to tell you that the WWE Draft Night 2 results are in, which means this week's Raw episode featuring WWE Draft has been concluded. I made a video about the results of WWE Draft Night 1 last weekend. If you haven't got a chance to watch it, go check it out by clicking on the above right. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and tap the little bell for more wrestling content. On to the WWE Draft. Based on the rules, SmackDown has already featured 4 rounds with 16 total picks last Friday night. Raw just had 6 rounds with 24 total picks. Champions on each brand are protected, therefore are not eligible to be drafted, except for the Women's Tag Team Champions. The rosters will be locked in next Monday, May 6th after WWE Backlash. With that said, let's get into the result of Night 2. Kicking off round 1 with Stephanie McMahon announcing the draft picks for Raw and SmackDown. Raw selected the Ring General, Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, the Imperium. A storm is coming as SmackDown selected Jade Cargill. Raw selected Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and the Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Damage Control. And lastly, Kevin Owens gets drafted to SmackDown. And that concludes round 1. Now on to round 2 with 2 YouTubers on WWE TV. iShowSpeed announcing the draft picks for Raw, while the United States Champion Logan Paul announcing the draft picks for SmackDown. Raw gets the voice of the voiceless, the Saint City, CM Punk. SmackDown gets Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and B-Fab, the Pride. Raw selected the monster of all monsters making his return, Braun Strowman, and SmackDown gets Tiffany Stratton. Round 3, we got Bradshaw and Farouk, the APA, coming out and announcing the 3rd round of WWE Draft. JBL announced Raw picks, and damn, Ron Simmons announced SmackDown picks. Raw gets the Latino World Order, WWE Hall of Famer, and deadbeat dad Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, Zelina Vega, and Carlito. Interesting despite the fact that Carlito betrayed LWO last Friday night on SmackDown, so they're all going to be on Raw. SmackDown gets Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Angel, Berto, and Elektra Lopez. Raw gets the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre, and SmackDown selected the King of Strong Style Shinsuke Nakamura. Now on to round 4, playa. Teddy Long coming out to announce the draft picks for Raw, while Alundra Blaze announcing the draft picks for SmackDown. Raw selected Finn Balor, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough as the Judgment Day once again will run Monday Night Raw. SmackDown gets Naomi. Raw gets the former NXT champion, the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov from NXT. And SmackDown gets Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Round 5, we have the Dudley Boys bringing back the table and announcing the draft picks once again. Bubba Ray Dudley announced the draft picks for Raw, while Devon Dudley announced the draft pick for SmackDown. Raw gets The New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. Yes, boys! SmackDown gets Elton Prince and Kid Wilson, Pretty Deadly. Raw gets Lyra Valkyria from NXT. SmackDown gets Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Now on to the final round of the WWE Draft. Raw GM Adam Pearce with a discount Jim Cornette dripping red blazer and tie minus the tennis racket announcing the draft picks for Raw, while SmackDown GM Nick Aldis announcing the draft picks for the brandette as well. Raw gets Karrion Kross, Scarlett AOP, and Paul Ellering, the Final Testament. SmackDown selected Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY. And Raw gets Big Bronson Reed. And lastly, SmackDown gets from NXT Blair Davenport. After Raw went off the air, WWE announced more and more draft picks as the bonus round. The Diamond Mine, Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, and Ivy Nile are staying on Raw. Giovanni Vinci is drafted to SmackDown. New Catch, Republic, Pete Dunne, and Tyler Bate are drafted to Raw. Tegan Knox is drafted to SmackDown. From NXT, Dijak is coming back to Raw. Apollo Crews is drafted to SmackDown. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance are staying on Raw. Natalya is also staying on Raw. And lastly, Odyssey Jones is staying or coming to Raw. Hope he doesn't end up like Veer Mahan is coming to Raw shtick, cause Odyssey Jones has yet to make his main roster debut, or specifically a televised debut on the main roster. So with that said, the WWE Draft 2024 has been concluded. Based on the statistics of the WWE Draft pool for this year, so far only 54 people staying in their own brand. Meanwhile, there were only 33 people switching brands, Raw and SmackDown vice versa, and only 7 NXT call-ups to Raw and SmackDown. I can only say that Night 2 is quite better than Night 1 in my book, because Night 2 had more people switching brands than Night 1, although there weren't a lot of big names switching brands as far as what I know. Anyways, leave your thoughts about what you think of the second night of WWE Draft, as well as your thoughts on this year's WWE Draft overall. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again for more wrestling content.